Okay, I have finished now this triangular section, and I know I'm done because I can't really keep going. I finished this part that has just the one leaf on it. So what I'm going to do is actually cut my yarn, leave myself plenty of tail to weave in, okay? And I'm actually going to make a slip stitch into the next chain here, which is sometimes a bit of a hard thing to do, but a slip stitch into this next chain here and just pull the tail all the way through. I'm just going to leave that hanging in the back, and that way I can weave that in later. So now we are going to make the border, and this top chain, this chain that we started with, we're going to leave, okay? That just stays just as it is. We're actually going to start over here. Oopsie, okay? Now you can choose which side you say is the front and which side you say is the back. Kind of look at your piece and decide, how do you like the leaves, all right? This is all going to get blocked. It will become much bigger. You may think it looks really small. Don't worry, this piece most definitely needs blocking, but you can see that the leaves are going to look a little bit different on both sides, okay? And you decide which side you like. It doesn't really matter. And that's the side that I'm going to start off with. So what you want to do now is find the end of your yarn and go ahead and put a little slip knot on it, okay? And now you have a couple choices. You can join it here and you can chain 3 to start as your first double crochet. You can join it here and do one of those double chain 2s. I'm actually just going to go ahead and make a double crochet. So what I'm going to do is hold on to the tail of my yarn against my crochet hook so that the slip knot doesn't wrap around and around the hook as I do this. And I'm just going to yarn over, insert my hook into this first space along this side of my shawl, yarn over, pull through. I'm just making a double crochet, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Once I've completed that double crochet, things aren't going to spin anymore. But if you don't hold on to that end while you're making it, the slip knot will just kind of spin around and around on you. All right, so now what we're going to do is go ahead and make 2 more double crochet and then a chain 1 and 3 double crochet into that first space. So 1, maybe. Let's try that again. There we go. There's my 1 and 2. There's my 2 more double crochet, chain 1, and then 3 more double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to chain 1, 3 double crochet into the next chain space. All right, and we're going to keep repeating that. So 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and then here's another chain space. I'm going to put 3 into there. So you see, we'll put 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1. I'm going to keep doing that, and eventually we'll get to where this point is. Okay, so I have my 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet in this very first chain space, and then just 3 double crochet with a chain 1 after it in every chain space all the way up to where this point is. So I have my 3 double crochet, chain 1 into this chain space right before the point of my shawl. I'm going to make another 3 double crochet, chain 1 in there. So this will be my second one in there, my second set, and the chain 1. And now I'm going to kind of repeat that. I'm going to repeat that on this side. I'm going to put a 3 double crochet and then chain 1 and then another 3 double crochet, chain 1 into this very first space. There's 3, yes, chain 1 and then another 3 double crochet, chain 1 into this first space. And then I will 3 double crochet, chain 1 into every space across. All right, so there's my 2 of them into the other side of that point. And then I'll put 1 set of 3 double crochet, chain 1 into every space across. And when I get to this very last space, I will put 2 sets of the 3 double crochet and chain 1. And then we'll come back and we will work on the next row. Okay, I finished my 3 double crochet, chain 1 across, and you can see I put 2 sets of 3 double crochet in the very last chain space. And actually what I did was I did my 3 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet all in that space, and then I did that very last 3 double crochet kind of in this stitch right here. And actually now that I'm looking at it, I didn't quite get it all the way to the corner, so I think I'm going to redo that. I'm just going to grab the very edge of this stitch. So it's got this kind of loopy bit here and maybe the top of this. I just want to make sure that it's all kind of in a line. There we go. See, that keeps that line going. I think it just gives it a neater look. You can certainly put it in the chain space. That's totally fine. Once you block it, things might kind of still look good. But I kind of prefer that. So now we're going to turn, and the pattern says to chain 6 and then double crochet in the next chain space and chain 3 across. That chain 6 counts as your first double crochet and then as your chain 3. So what I'm going to do is, instead of the first chain 3 that count as that double crochet, I'm actually going to make a doubled chain 2. So I'm going to go into the top of the very last stitch that I made, yarn over and pull through. So there's 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through both of those loops. And now those 2 loops that used to be on my hook, I'm going to put my hook in the one that is farthest away from the hook. So I'm going to skip this first one and put my hook into the second one. I'm going to yarn over and pull through just that. Okay, so now there's 2 loops on my hook again, and yarn over and pull through. And that is a doubled chain 2. That gets me to the height of my double crochet, and it's not quite as scrawny as just a chain 2. It's a doubled chain 2. So now I'm going to do the other chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Of course, you could have done just a plain old chain 6 there if that's what you want. Now what I'm going to do is put a double crochet into the next chain 1 space, and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3, double crochet into the next chain space. Oops, yarn over first. Double crochet into the next chain space, and then chain 3. I'm going to do that all the way until I get to the little point of my shawl. Oh, missed it. Where'd it go? Oh, got my shawl upside down. Okay, point of my shawl. So I'm going to keep doing this. Double crochet in the chain 1 space, and then chain 3 until I get to the point of the shawl. And we're actually just going to do that like 3 times, I believe, when we get to the point. So we'll come back to that. Place my double crochet into each chain 1, then a chain 3. So double crochet into chain 1, chain 3, double crochet into the chain 1, chain 3, and I've gotten to the point of this shawl. So now I'm going to actually make sure there are 3 double crochet in here. So I have a double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, then my second double crochet into there, and another chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then my third double crochet into there. Okay, so I have 3 double crochets, each with a chain 3 in between them, into the point of my shawl. And now I'm going to keep doing that all the way down, all the way across the other edge. So 1, 2, 3, chain 3 into the chain space, and keep doing that across until I get to the very last chain space. Here we are at the end of row 2 of our border. I have a double crochet into the last chain 1 space. I'm now going to chain 3 again, and I'm going to place a double crochet into the very last stitch of row 1. And there we go. There's the end of row 2. So now let's go on to row 3. We're going to turn our work, and you can either, here we go, helps if I grab onto the correct end. All right, so you can either chain 3, which counts as your first double crochet, or you can do one of those doubled chain 2s again. So I'm going to do my doubled chain 2 where I insert my hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both of those, and then insert my hook into the second loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both of those, and there's my doubled chain 2, which counts as my first double crochet. And now I'm going to place another 2 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet into this first space here, okay? We need to continue the growing of this triangle, or else our border will go like this instead of like this, and that would be sad. So sad. Okay, so there we go. That now makes 3 double crochet to begin with, a chain 1, and then another 3 double crochet. And we are going to place 3 double crochet, chain 1 into every chain 3 space across. And we will come back when we get to the point, because it's a little tiny bit different when we get to the point. So 3 double crochet, chain 1 into every chain space across up to the point, and then we will come back. We've made our 3 double crochet into the chain space, and then chain 1, 3 double crochet into the next chain space, chain 1 all the way across this side, and we've gotten to the point here. And now the only difference is right here we're just going to chain 3 instead of chain 1. So 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochet into this chain space. And then we're going to keep on doing the chain 1, 3 double crochet into the next chain space, all the way back to the beginning, or to the very end of this side. And then we will come back and finish up row 3 and begin our final row, row 4 of our border. So there's your point right here. And then we're just going to keep on doing 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1, all the way to the end of this side. Right, here we are at the end of row 3 of our border, and I have the 3 double crochet into the last chained space. I'm going to chain 1 more, put 2 more double crochet into that chain space, and then put the very last double crochet into the top of my doubled chain 2. If you just did the chain 6, then you're really fine, and even if you did the double chain 2, you're really fine putting all 3 of those into the space, because that stitch isn't all that thick. But with the double chain 2, I do prefer to put it into the last stitch, but you don't have to. All right, now we're going to turn, and we're going to do row 4, the last row of our border, and we're going to start with a chain 3. No matter what, it's going to be a chain 3. Okay, now we're going to make a beaded picot. So the beaded picot, what we're going to do is chain 2, 1, 2, and then put a bead onto that chain. So I took my hook out of the loop, I put a bead onto my steel hook. This one is a 0.9 millimeter. I think maybe 0.8 might be a better bet. Let's see if this one will fit. There we go. It worked. You might want a tiny bit smaller. All right, and then I'm going to make 1 more chain, and now I'm going to go back to the first of the 3 chains that I made. So that was 1, 2, 3 here. There we go, and I'm going to slip stitch into that chain. So you can kind of, it's almost easier to count from the bottom. I can count 1, 2, 3. There's the 3 chains of my chain 3, and then here's the first chain of my picot. And I'm just going to slip stitch into that first chain of my picot, just really through any 2 of those loops that you want. It's not a big deal which 2 you grab. I'm going to yarn over, pull through everything, and then chain 3 more. 1, 2, 3, and single crochet into the next chain 1 space. And now again, I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then make my beaded picot, which is a chain 1, 2, and then slide a bead on. Yeah, I think a little bit smaller than 0.9 millimeter might be a good bet for that. And then chain one more, slip stitch into the bottom, the first of those 3 chains for my picot. So again, you can see 1, 2, 3 of the original chains, and then there's the first chain of the picot. So I'm going to slip stitch into that. And eventually, this becomes really easy to just eyeball, but I'm going through it nice and slow to make sure you understand. And then chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet into the next chain 1 space. We are going to do this all the way around. When you get to the point, you're simply going to make sure that there are 2 of the single crochets. So you'll single crochet, chain 3, beaded picot, and then single crochet again, and then go back this way, okay? So you're just kind of repeat it once into the chain 3 space. So it'll be single crochet, chain 3, beaded picot, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, beaded picot, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, beaded picot, chain 3, single crochet into here. Do that all the way across, and your very last single crochet will actually be into the very last stitch. Your very last single crochet will go into this very last stitch of the row. All right, and that is all it will take. Then we're going to end it off, weave in all the ends, and block it.